So people often say to me, like normies, they'll say stuff like, "Oh well, how could they possibly pull off such a massive plan? Because they would have to communicate. So many people would have to communicate with each other, and obviously these communications would become obvious. We'd know what their plan is. Blah 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 blah." Now, basically, what they do is that they use symbolism. It's almost like that Batman, those Batman films where Batman he has a symbol in the sky and it means certain things. So yeah, this is about the symbolism used by the big club and quite possibly how you might be able to detect controlled opposition through their use of these symbols. Now, obviously, for a time, these symbols weren't known to people like me. I wasn't aware of these things. But that's all changed since March 2020, hasn't it? I must admit, I watched Veritas Vincent. I don't normally like his stuff, but he was basically saying, oh, that D91 was just like the Dieppe raid. It was a trial, and they were just wanting to learn from us how we reacted for the next big one. And what I would say to that is that we have also been learning. The learning just doesn't happen on one side. When they did the trial run, we also learned an awful lot about them. I would say we've learned far more about them than they have learnt about us. So the chances of them being able to pull off something very similar to D91 is very, very unlikely, I would say, because learning takes place on both sides. Anyway, what I'm going to focus on in this video is the symbols that they use. And as I say, they use them for two purposes. Purpose number one is to identify to others who's in the big club and who isn't. The second reason is so people in the big club can recognize when something that's in the news is actually real or whether it's just fake. So I'll give you an example of that. They love the number, they love this numerology stuff. They love the number 33, for example. So I would say that there's a high probability that if you see something in the news and it's got 33 in the title, it's almost certainly propaganda and it's fake. So I'll show you an article now from The Guardian. Probably fake. There's another one that was featured in The Lancet. I'll show you that now. Another symbol that they use is the pyramid. So did a bit of research on this. This apparently, obviously relates back to ancient Egypt and stuff, and it's symbolic. So they believe, that the big club believe, of a brainwashed population. So there's a large base at the bottom of the pyramid. That's the peasants supporting a small elite at the top. That's the big club. So you can see lots of images. Like I'll flash up some here. So there's the US dollar. These all of these politicians doing a pyramid sign with their hands. Did you spot the father and daughter there? There's obviously tons and tons of examples of this. You could be watching a video for hours with them all doing this. My question to you is that have you ever made any of these kind of freaky, have you got photographs of you doing these freaky hand gestures by accident? I haven't. So for me, that suggests that it's purposeful behaviour, that it's some sort of signal used to communicate information tacitly to others, namely that you're a member of the club and that you're going to go along with whatever is asked of you. The next one I'll spend a tiny bit more time on because I always guessed that this guy was big club. I went to school in Rochdale and it was a state comprehensive, but there was this guy who I actually went to primary school, Bamford Primary, with him. He's called Andy Anson, and doors always seemed to open for Andy, and it was very, very interesting. It was apparent even as a kid that this guy had connections, and he's done various things. He worked at Manchester United for a while. I think the Glazers binned him off. He was commercial director or something like that. Then after that, he headed up a British World Cup football bid. He did some stuff with Lawn Tennis Association. Can't get more establishment than that. He's done various things. He's now heading up the commercial side of Lancashire County Cricket Club, a professional cricket club in England. And about 2 or 3 weeks ago, he was at some event. I think it was opening a new hotel that they've got there at the ground, Old Trafford. And he's pictured, I'm going to show you a picture now. It's an outrageous picture. That this guy is this flashing, this blatant big club symbol. He's with the England fast bowler James Anderson. Not that that matters. The main thing is just this absolutely blatant big club imagery. He's even managed to get the capstone into his. It's amazing. I'll just show it to you now, and I'll probably show it up for 5 seconds so you can have a really good look at it. So what does this tell me? It tells me that Andy Anson is definitely big club, and in all, well, he's definitely sold his soul. So, well, yeah, good luck, Andy. The next one is also shocking, and it concerns Richard Vobes. So I didn't notice this, I'll be honest with you. It's Marty Bucco who did. I had a telephone conversation with him not so long ago. Excuse me. Please subscribe to his channel, by the way. He's done some good stuff. So he said, "Oh, you want to take a look at Vobes' YouTube page? There's some quite interesting imagery, and we talked about that." So yes, I have. So the first thing is that there's a pyramid. I'll show you that now. So is Richard Vobes a shill? Well, he's got a pyramid sign on his YouTube channel. Is that a sign to other big club members, or is it just a fluke by chance? Maybe he likes, I don't know, maybe he's into Egyptology or something. Another symbol that the big club uses, the funny handshake gang, is the checkerboard floor and the pillars. Yeah. So when was this? Back in about 14 months ago, something like that. It was in England. We're in Covent Garden, and we saw this church. It was featured in this. Do you remember the Ultravox video, Vienna? It was the front of it was in that. Anyway, St Paul's Church. So I went inside there when we visited England, and it's just absolutely full of big club imagery, including the floor, the pillars, even the clock. You could see that. It was like the kind of the eye thing. Only one of them to try to get around Al Gore. I'll show you the image now. Oh yeah, the other thing about this church, apparently, that I found out when I went inside and read some information about it, is that it was a church that kind of had special connections with theatre actors and stuff. All the world's a stage. It certainly didn't feel like a very Christian place when I went in, that was for sure. Another one, another big club symbol is like the sun. They were Egypt, Ra, god of the sun. Now, I know the rise above people, they just mock this. And I don't see anything wrong in mocking any of these symbols. It doesn't mean that you're actually using them to communicate if you're just absolutely ripping the piss out of them. So these guys take the mickey out of it. Again, but if you look at the front page of Richard Vobes' channel, you can see he's got his bald head and he's looking towards the sun, and the sun's kind of shining. I don't know. Might just be random, might be just him taking the mickey out of himself being bald. I don't know whether that's a symbol or whether that's just a coincidence. Another one that Marty Bucco talked to me about that I didn't really have much of a clue about before was colours. That apparently the big club gang They use several colours, one of which is purple. And apparently, I did some research about this. Purple is indicative of a place of honour for those who provided sustained and exemplary service to the craft, the big club. So you can see, I'll show you some pictures here. So the Queen was obviously, well, not obviously, something that I've learned from doing a bit of research. She was a massive fan of purple, purple everywhere, purple rain. You can see quite a bit of purple on Richard Vobes's YouTube channel. And, people like Regan Rapino, I won't be surprised if she's big club, with her purple hair. But does that mean that dyeing your hair purple and indeed wearing purple clothes, like you can see on the Richard Vogue front page, does that mean that you're definitely members of the big club? Well, I don't know. I think even in Finland, I've seen some of this. I've seen some young people who've dyed their hair weird colours and stuff like that. I don't rule out the possibility that people might just do stuff like that kind of accidentally, just as a laugh. And I guess you've got to wear some sort of clothing, haven't you? And it will be some sort of colour. So, but having said that, I don't think I own anything that's purple. I don't know. It's quite an unusual colour for clothes, isn't it? So, oh, and the other thing as well, I was, whilst I was like doing a little bit of this research, I was watching a video of an Iskelmar artist and a stage show. She had like quite a few like purple lights. So does that mean that she's big club? I not necessarily. The stage lighting has got to be some sort of colour, but it's interesting. Another colour that they like is this light blue, this Tiffany blue, and I could put up loads of pictures of Big Mike, Obama's other, wearing Tiffany blue. It's a colour that allegedly the big club like to display, and another image that's featured on Vobes's front page is the unicorn. Did a bit of research about that. Apparently, it can mean lots of different things. So it's sexually, it can mean a bisexual woman who joins an existing couple. Random. It can also be a symbol of purity and grace. And apparently, it's the best known symbol of Scotland, and it appears on the royal coat of arms in the UK. So I'll show you that as well. Now, again, on the Richard Vobes thing, you can see his girlfriend, the lovely Julia, as she calls. She's wearing a sweatshirt with a unicorn on it, and I think the image shows that there's some text underneath it that says "Fun Club." So, big club, is that a stretch? I don't know. It could all be random, couldn't it? It could all be just chance. Another thing that the big club uses as a way of communicating, showing that somebody's controlled opposition, is a brick wall background. Now, I did know about this before I talked to Marty Bucco, and I always make sure that I avoid standing in front of a brick wall when I'm doing any of my videos, because I don't want people to think that I'm controlled opposition or a shill. And apparently, the brick wall. The big club. They want to break down resistance to change. So the brick wall, break down the brick wall. And apparently, what they believe is the best method to break down that brick wall of resistance to change is through incremental change. So there's a number of people that have used brick wall backgrounds quite extensively. One is trigonometry. I'll show you an image of that. Another is Andy the Gabby Cabby, brick wall, and I think you can also see a bit of Tiffany blue there as well. These like weird candle things, or seems a bit weird thing to have in your garage. There's also the Funky Prepper. Again, you can see some sort of a brick wall behind where he is. And then the other thing that I would say, it's not really a symbol, but I think for me is a bit of a telltale is content creators that have got very high production value. So there'll be intro and outro music. I don't know, like cartoon caricatures of themselves. It all looks really, really slick and professional. And for me, that makes me suspicious, really. I'm less likely to. It raises questions about whether it's authentic or whether it's astroturf. I like the phrase astroturf because it implies fake grassroots. You know, you've got this phrase grassroots, which is organic, natural, people like me speaking up. Tim Fairplay now, Veritas Vincent, all of these people are genuine grassroots, whereas I certainly have very little doubt that trigonometry is astroturf, and I get very bad vibes about that Andy the Gabby Cabby. And the other thing as well that's often a telltale is just way too much doom porn. So it's constant like, oh, this is coming, this is coming. You know, and the other thing that I don't like is when people try to imply that Jill Bates and Klaus are superhumans, and it's only them that learn, not us. It links into Yuri Bezmenov and this stage in breaking down society where you just try to demoralize people. You know, if people think that Klaus is a superhuman and their plans are going to, perfectly, and it's only them that learn, we're stupid, we never learn, then people are more likely to give up, aren't they, and stop resisting. I'm not. I actually wrote a comment underneath Lee's video. I don't think he's big club at all, of course not. But I think what's the word? He's not really understanding the reality of the situation, assuming that it's only them that have learned. If Divic 91 was a test run, it's not just them that's learned, Lee. We've also learned, and we've also, I would say, millions of us have learned. There's people like me and you who weren't awake prior to Divic 91, we've learned far more about them than they have about us, and that's just a fact. So, conclusions then. First conclusion is that the big club uses symbols. It helps them to communicate to others, helps them to identify like who's part of the big club, who isn't. There's certainly a lot of very interesting imagery on Richard Vobes's kind of front page. I've talked about that separately. I'll just show you the whole thing now so you can see for yourself. So we've got the pyramids, we've got the colours, we've got the sun, we've got the unicorn. Am I saying that Richard Vobes is 100% a shill? No. This could all be a coincidence. But I think if I'm being honest, it's unlikely. I would like Richard Vobes not to be a shill, but it's a pretty big coincidence if it is a coincidence. And yeah, what do I say to you? Is just make your own mind up. I would say practice discernment. So that's all I want to say today. So God bless.